Hey, justice seekers. I'm the baby criminologist, half legal mind, half snack machine. Today, we're talking about something more serious than running out of applesauce. Wrongful convictions. When someone gets punished for a crime they didn't commit. And just like blaming me for the peanut butter in the remote control, sometimes the wrong person gets the blame. But in the real world, it's not just time out. It can mean years behind bars. Let's break down 5 causes of wrongful convictions, backed by the big leagues of justice research, and sprinkled with a little baby wisdom. The first step of our journey into wrongful convictions begins with flawed forensic science. You know, basically when CSI turns into DIY. You set out with good intentions. You've got your recipe, your oven preheated, your apron on. You measure, you mix, you even feel a little smug about how professional you look. But somewhere along the way, you replace sugar with salt, and suddenly your masterpiece turns into a weapon of mass disappointment. That's what flawed forensic science does in the justice system. It starts with the best intentions, all the right tools, and a confident recipe for truth. But if the ingredients are wrong, say, a bite mark analysis that's unreliable, a hair comparison that doesn't actually prove anything, or a DNA test handled sloppily, you're going to get a verdict that's just as bad as those salt cookies. Yet, the issues go deeper than mere slip-ups in the lab. Many forensic techniques, like fingerprint analysis and bite mark comparisons, have never been rigorously proven to work scientifically. They're grounded more in tradition than in data-backed validation. To make matters worse, there's no single national rulebook, which means labs across the country use inconsistent standards, making errors and bias more likely to slip through. And when evidence processing gets rushed or mistakes happen, say someone contaminates a sample or misreads a result, those accidental errors become courtroom testimony, locking an innocent person behind bars for the long haul. It's like if CSI was filmed without a script, a budget, or checking the science. The next step on our trip through people being sent to prison for crimes they didn't commit is false confessions, because sometimes saying yes is easier than saying no. Yes, people do confess to crimes they didn't commit. It happens under intense pressure, long interrogations, or scary threats, especially for kids and people with limited understanding of their rights. Imagine if the grown-ups kept asking me, "Did you hide the TV remote?" for hours. And finally, I just say yes to make it stop, even though it's really under the cat. In real life, that kind of pressure has put innocent people in prison for decades. Now we enter eyewitness error, the art of being absolutely sure and totally wrong. Humans aren't great at remembering faces under stress, especially across racial lines. People focus on weapons or on the chaos, and memory gets fuzzy. That's why mistaken IDs are one of the leading causes of wrongful convictions. It's basically the oops wrong baby of the justice system. Reforms like double-blind, sequential lineups help, but memory is still as slippery as me after bath time. As if misremembering faces wasn't enough, the system has a few more tricks up its sleeve. Sometimes police or prosecutors cross the line, whether by hiding evidence, using unreliable informants, or sticking to a theory even when the facts don't fit. This tunnel vision can steamroll right over the truth, kind of like me on my baby walker when I see cookies on the table. Innocence Project data shows official misconduct is a factor in more than half of wrongful conviction cases, especially in serious crimes like homicide. If official misconduct is a steamroller, weak defense is the tiny toy car in its path. Look, everyone has the right to a good lawyer, but overworked, underfunded, or inexperienced defense attorneys can miss critical evidence, fail to challenge faulty forensics, or not bring in expert witnesses. If your defense is weaker than my Babygate, you're in trouble. That's why strengthening public defense is one of the most important steps in preventing wrongful convictions. These causes, bad science, false confessions, mistaken IDs, misconduct, and poor defense, don't just hurt the innocent. They also leave the real offender free to harm others. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to help protect my right to rant like a tiny tyrant of truth, and comment so I know someone's listening while I nap. Justice should be fair, thorough, and about finding the truth, not just closing a case. I'm the baby criminologist, reminding you, protect your rights, question the evidence, and always double-check who really ate the last cookie. See you next week.